Welcome to this how-to guide. So today we're going to look at how to research fashion designers. Now this might be useful for when we're in class and we're looking at different fashion designers and we're looking at the different concepts they provide to the fashion industry. But also might be useful and will be useful for when you're designing and looking towards your fashion portfolio. And researching fashion designers will assist in how we look at different concepts, because everything we do in fashion will come from one fashion designer and their fashion designs will come from another one, and so on. So it's all a reproduction of a system. So what is researching a fashion designer? It is, in simple terms, we're looking at what they do for life, work, how they created their clothing, designs, and then we deep dive right into how they became the creative and how they got their ideas. So why do we research fashion designers is just like to explore the hidden treasures behind each of the designers. See and discover their amazing techniques, styles, and inspiration. And by studying their work, we can learn new things and get ideas from this that we can carry forward into our own design projects. So with that, we're going to run through some key areas that I would like you to look at and are good to look at when researching your fashion designer. And then we're going to look at how you could write it up and what different tools you could use to search for that. So step one is looking at a basic introduction into the designer. So that includes their name, location, where they lived, and where they're from, and are they a part of any art movements. These are really key, but will help you in a very steady understanding at the very start. Step two is looking specifically at the techniques and materials. This can include any developments they've made within their field, and that could look at really big developments such as like Mary Quant, who developed the miniskirt in the 60s, and that was a huge moment in development in her field. We could look at other designers such as. The third step is you're going to look at the themes explored and the different inspiration and reasoning behind each of these, and considering the political and social commitments behind it, because each designer will have done projects with a very heavily influenced political or social comments behind it. The fourth step is looking at how we reflect on the work, how we take our mood and feelings. How does this make you feel? What descriptive words could you use? And then, in your own opinion, expressing your feelings about the work. Is it okay to love, hate, and be indifferent about the work? But you must say why you are these things. And then the final step is let's write it up and see what we found out. So we're going to go back to step one, and we're going to look at how we take this information. So what I have done is I've taken the points I've made here on my slideshow, but then put it onto a Word document. This will give you a basic start to it. So with that, then you can break it down. So at this point, it's good that I broke it down into different sections. So looking at basic introduction into the designer, include name, location, live to, from, and the parts of the movement. And then you can go on to different sections. And what you could do is you could add in your notes underneath, which is quite good because then you get to see. But then you could do that way, or another way I would suggest is then taking the information and breaking it down into a write-up, essay, or report. With that, it makes it a lot easier to see and identify. So in your introduction, you'll include such a things in your paragraph 1, 2, 3, and your final one, and what you'll write about. And if you want to pause the video here, you can take a screenshot of how I have laid that out, which will be very beneficial for you on writing your own up. And then the next step is I've just put in notes and then written down the main key points. So then what I can do is I can go introduction, so the name of the designer, and then we're going to look at Mary Quant. Where she lived, where she's from, so then we can go into open a new tab and we'll go put in Mary Quant. And it'll come up with loads of information, so you can do it this way. And just remember when you're researching to use credible information, and I don't want you to be using things like Wikipedia or unknown sites. So first of all, there's quite a good one on the V&A Museum, and it talks about different parts. So you can look at different aspects. So you can scroll through, you can read. So where she's from Blackheath in London. She's two daughters. She's the daughter of two Welsh school teachers. So you can type in she's from London. Where she lived, London, London. And then you can build up this picture. But what I want you to do is also copy and paste the URL at the top, and this goes into your referencing. When you're referencing for this stage in your education at secondary school, I prefer you just to start to think out referencing. So you're just copying the URL or copying the name of the title of the books, things like that. But when you get to college and university, you'll have to reference a certain way, and that is a complication of a system that to prevent plagiarism. So that's why for now, we're just going to do a very basic referencing system, just so you get the hang of taking that in. And then you keep going down, you find all your information. You're going to then keep filling out all the different boxes until you have got to the point where you have now filled them all in. So by the end of that, you should have filled in this information. Then you're going to write your summary. So once you've then put in your notes, so this is just basic bullet points, you can then take your notes and write down them into paragraphs and make them more contextualized and make sense. Additional where you could research would be looking at like Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a more in-depth research tool that provides you with articles and research. So it gives you like books, and it gives you a range of different things. So there's Mary Quant defining the swinging 60s. And then when you go into these, I want you to be very careful with each of the links. You're making sure that you're not just picking information that is not credible. So once you load, it will come up with a journal article, and then you can look through different information. So this gives you design analysis of the approach and a development of the miniskirt and an influence of the 60s. So you can see how then we'll gather that more information with backing. And that's what I want you to do. So in a sense, when you're researching, so to recap, you're researching your fashion designer. First, you're going to look out for their name, location where they lived, and if they're any part of any movements. The second step You're going to look at the different techniques and materials that designer used and any developments they made within their area of expertise. Themes explored and the inspiration look behind it. And then the fourth step is your aspect of reflecting on their work and how it makes you feel. Then the very final step is your write-up. So that is a process of how I would like you to research your designer. So breaking it down into 3 different parts in the last 2 sections is your own thoughts and summary.